Okay, Christina here to listen to some music, and today's music selection is An Ocean of Strange Islands by Nightwish. This is a relatively new Nightwish song. It just came out a couple years ago in 2024, and apparently it was on their 10th studio album. I really had no idea how many albums they had, and honestly, there's this new music here, so this is really exciting. I've gotten a pretty good collection going here on the channel of Nightwish songs, and so I'm excited to add this new one to it. But simply adding to a collection of songs is not all we're here for. I am a professional, classically trained musician, instrumentalist, vocalist, composer, and professor. So we dive into these songs. We take a look at how they are composed, the instrumentation, possibly some theory and form and analysis, maybe some instrument demos, and of course, how do we relate to this music? Why do we like this music so much, or why do we not like it? So no more delay. Let's listen. Okay, this is also, I believe, the first non-live performance that I've heard from them, so that should be an interesting change of pace. All right, here we go. This is really exciting. Okay. The beginning was really interesting because it started out so innocently. And on the video, they're showing butterflies. To me, that really fit. Sort of the harp sound along with the butterflies flittering around. But then there was a key change all of a sudden. I think did it go just down a step? I can't remember if the key actually went down or if there was a leading tone that brought it down. Regardless, there was an established feeling there, and then we were taken down a level. Immediately, it felt heavy. But at the same time, we had all of the choir sounds and the orchestral sounds in there, sort of still trying to lift us up. So something funny happens with me with symphonic metal is that I tend to get carried away with one idea or the other, like the symphonic part or the metal part, and then sometimes I get used to one, and when the other comes in, I'm sort of taken by surprise. I'm not sure why my brain keeps wanting to do that. I guess I'm sort of enjoying those two separate flavors individually, and then it's like, oh yeah, when you put them together, it's also very delicious. So I sort of experienced that here. I was like, beautiful symphony and choir, and then, oh, heavy metal. Okay, but again, it's delicious. All right, we're just getting into the words, and I believe that's Flor, our Valkyrie goddess, singing. So let's back it up and hear what she has to say. I feel like we finally went back up to that beautiful plane that we started at the beginning. That might not necessarily go along with the lyrics, but just musically, we started here, we went down here, and then now we're back up. This is really beautiful, and it's really intense. I've experienced intensity with Nightwish in the past reactions, but this might be the most sort of vibrant intensity that I've heard from Nightwish so far. Right now, I feel like this one is more about the metal sound than it is the symphonic sound. The symphony is there really, truly, at least so far, to fill in the background around the metal sound. And I know with the intro, it sort of started the other way around. And often in Nightwish music, there is a section in the song where the symphony will be really put on display. But so far, I just really feel like this song is really metal heavy. Heavy with heavy metal. So I think that's where some of that vibrant intensity is coming from for me. And even though the words are here, I'm reading the lyrics as we go along here. I'm actually having trouble still even keeping up with them because there's so much going on with the music. And my ears trying to do that, and my eyes are trying to do this, and there's just a lot going on. So bear with me. I'll go back and make sure we catch everything. I'm hearing so much motion in the background, though, with the symphony. So much that it's almost not in the background, but you know what I mean, how it's like the wash, like the watercolor wash in the background of this painting. The string lines are beautiful. They're more supportive rather than carrying and moving forward. And the lower strings, I think maybe are playing along a lot with the electric bass, the bass line and the percussion. I'm picturing lots of bump, 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 that sort of short bow stroke. And then the violins are lots of runs. I'm actually hearing more gestures outwardly from the brass. There were these little lead-ins to new phrases, da, 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 that were really poignant. And of course, whoever they use for the symphony, super high quality, excellent. All right, let's back it up to the beginning, hopefully, of this new section where we kind of bumped back up. Okay. The story I think is getting kind of heavy also. Wow. Okay, so yeah, we went back up, came back down, and then there was this huge descension. Really went down. So I don't know if that's supposed to be like shipwrecks or just the state of human despair. If you're out there on the ocean and things are not going well. But I certainly felt that dilemma. And so we did sort of get our little orchestral solo moment, but there was a great guitar solo, but then I heard the strings sort of doubling it. And then we got into this new tribal sort of sounding section, and the percussion sort of relaxed a little bit. Instead of it was like bum, 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 bum. And you would think that that relaxation would bring peace, but no. There's no peace here. Maybe there will be by the end. Is it a happy ending? But really cool use of the voices there, the choir. Floor, when she's singing, I'm used to seeing her sing live. I'm used to seeing her taking the breath in. And I'm also not used to hearing all of the harmonies. There are some harmonies that are sung live with her, but here they can do more with it. I'm hearing more soprano, female voices in the background harmonizing with her. And I think it's great. It's beautiful. And that might just be her looped in over the top. But yeah, I'm not going to say that there's anything missing here. It is just a slightly different experience. I would like to see how they perform this song live. Has this album been taken on a tour yet? And if so, if anyone out there saw it, how did the song sound? All right, so this is a pretty great adventure. Let's just keep going. Okay, wow. That last little section was really hopeful. I was hoping for a happy ending, but I don't know if we're going to get that. Then she just sort of let it all go. So just like in the last 10, 15 seconds, she was putting her amazing voice on display for us. And if she was live here, you know what that would look like. Just the mouth shape, wide open mouth, the wind blowing her beautiful long dark hair. She's just glorious. Her voice is sort of overwhelming at this point in the song. I was really starting to get some goosebumps, some shivers and chills. All right, let's keep going. Got to finish the adventure. What happens to everybody? Well, it ended, do I dare say peacefully? Kind of how it started, but I don't think it was peaceful. It was more like rest in peace. So not so happy, but just more like finally the despair might be over one way or another. Okay, the pipes. Those pipes were beautiful. I love that instrument. What are they called? I think it starts with a U. That like Elaine. I'm getting the pronunciation incorrect. Here, let's see. It's such a beautiful instrument. It's one of my favorites. I have to give it the credit it's due. Oh gosh, I'm not sure. I thought I knew at one point. Okay, so we'll correct that later. Because I am just, I've always loved that instrument. So when I was little, my mom was a big fan of Enya. So I grew up with Enya's music, and she used those pipes quite a lot. And I do remember them being used in a previous reaction that I did to Nightwish. And for some, again, I had that instrument, the pipes all figured out. And I'm just overtaken by the beauty of it. And so I'm just, so pardon me, if you know how to pronounce it, go ahead. But the beauty of that instrument just always overwhelms me, especially how it can sort of bend a pitch going into something. And then how the voice of it cracks as it moves across all of the notes. To me, it sounds both like someone crying, wailing, but at the same time, sort of a warm maternal voice in there. It's sort of all of that wrapped into one instrument. And so the fact that it came in there for the end and then hung on and then ended in a double stop or basically two notes being played at the same time, which I didn't know that instrument could do that. Maybe it can't. So it was just, two notes, two recordings of it. But I really loved how it did that. I think it ended on a perfect fourth. Let's go back to that and check it out. So let's see, right towards the end. Yeah, let me get my keyboard turned on here. Yeah, so it's perfect fourth. It's from E to A, were the two notes that it played there at the end. More peaceful songs will end with a third. So when there are notes that are just three notes away from one another, so they go from a line to a line or a space to a space. So that would be like this. Or there's just something a little more quaint, less disturbing about using a third. But when you go to a fourth, it's more cutting, it's more straightforward and more serious. So that definitely left an impression on me for the last closing interval. Okay, let's go back towards the beginning. We can actually hear the very beginning just to remind ourselves. I like to do that, about where we started in this adventure. Very innocent. You hear the violins way up high, playing a harmonic. Everything's sort of echoing, and there's sort of treble looming in the background in the lower notes. But the very, very innocent with the voices and the harp sounds. And then again, they're showing butterflies, which that does fit with, but these butterflies, there's no color to them. They look like they're sort of 3D printed and like just the veins of the butterflies. So they're sort of ominous butterflies. There is definitely something ominous ahead of us here. So let's see, moving ahead, what some of the cool things are. Like I noticed the brass work. Let's hear this. Okay, so I did mention with the brass, bop, 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 the little brass stingers there, it was like a punctuation, and it led us from one experience to the next, bridging the gap. Let's hear that one again. It goes by fast, but to me, they really stuck out. So there were several of those, and I think they became more and more kind of scary as the piece went on. Okay, then harmonically, what we have coming up here are some notes that are brought in there that really cause a lot of tension harmonically. So let's listen. Okay, so right now we have D minor. We're hearing all of those notes in there, but then there are a few things added in. There, right there, did you hear it? Ah. So if we're in D, again, D minor, we heard the next note up, that second tone in the D scale. And so there's some, conflict there. Yeah, so that was a cool effect. I noticed sort of a battle cry moment later on. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah, all of this. Be a part of the story. Bringing all of us in to experience this battle, the adventure. And what are we in for? Okay. Things taking kind of an uneasy turn. Yikes. Okay, the 3D printed whales are kind of terrifying. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so right here there's some great counterpoint happening. There are ascending and descending lines. You hear the da 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 da, and then da 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 da, and they're sort of crossing paths. It's the ultimate chaos in music. But then we head into this descension. So let's go back. Pay attention, just a few seconds here. Pay attention to the higher notes, and then the mid-range to lower notes. Listen for that conflict. They're in unison at first. And then they just, whoo. There. Yep. Okay. Is that a gong? Awesome. Heavier drums. Whew. Ominous brass. Again, it's sounding very tribal here. Battle cries. Okay. And that cool descension actually happens later, but we're definitely headed into the depths of it. So let me move forward a little bit to hear some of this descension. Okay. It's a really cool moment. She's singing really low too. This is despair. Oh. Yeah. We went down into the depths of despair. Wow. Okay, and now the choir is even saying, yeah, things are pretty bad. Friends. It's funny how the words come up before they start singing. So you're hearing all this depths and despair, and then the word friends comes up on the screen. Okay, so yeah, here is where we were hoping to have some happiness, camaraderie, maybe. I mean, you have to, find the silver linings in all these situations here. And then, do we finally make landfall? I think we do, but then we find that the island is not any better. So I want to move ahead and hear a little bit. We've got just a couple of beautiful moments that I have to highlight here before we're finished. And I could go on a lot longer, but I'd keep you here all day. So I want to point out Floor's voice. There was one spot that was just very special. Oh, it's almost a whisper there. Yep. Okay, there she is. So yeah, a little glorious moment for her right there. And then to me, the other beautiful voice in this were the pipes. So I have to go forward and hear them sing their heart out as well. I was so happy when I heard them come in. I was like, oh, yay. And they did not disappoint. Oh, excellent silence with the pedal tone in the bass. And now we have a major key. Sort of. Yeah. Yes? Hopeful? Yes? Maybe? Okay. Maybe? No, I think we're kind of sad. Let bygones be bygones. Oh, lovely. Okay. Back to tonic. Fantastic. Just listen to those pipes. They're just... There's something ancient and graceful about them. It's so wonderful. So wonderful. Okay, and one of those bends, I think a high point is coming up here with the choir that comes in with it. There we go. Fantastic. Beautiful. Yeah, and there's that fourth at the end. Okay, this is gonna make me cry. And I don't mean for the pipes to outshine Floor. She's fantastic. But that instrument just sort of is speaking to my heart. It usually does, and it definitely is right now. That might be one of the most beautiful musical moments I've heard. that instrument be used in. Okay. That was An Ocean of Strange Islands by Nightwish. This one's a special one. The others that I've heard from Nightwish are also really wonderful. Oh my goodness. The concepts of them and the symphonic work within them, the mastery of the live performance, the beauty of Floor, inside and out. But there was something special just to me about the sound, the instrumentation of this one. So at first I was saying that this was primarily a heavy metal piece. And it was, because there's a lot of adventure going on here. But then I realized that it's about trying to find peace after the adventure, or maybe even because of the adventure. Face your fears, and perhaps afterwards you can find peace. But seriously, I mean, between the choir and the orchestra and Floor's voice and then those pipes at the end, it got me. If I was in the mood to listen to Nightwish, which I do find myself in that mood, this might be one that I gravitate towards first. So yeah, definitely will go on my playlist. Each time I react to a Nightwish song, I walk away with bits of it playing over and over in my head. And I love it. You know, sometimes we get a song stuck in our heads and, you know, that earworm, I hate that term, but sometimes we don't like it. But have you ever gotten a song stuck in your head that you do like? It's kind of nice. And so that's what I have been doing with Nightwish. Like each time I am introduced to another of their songs that happens to me, I remember it like with Ghost Love Score and, you know, parts of Poet and the Pendulum. So these pipes, both Floors and the actual pipes, are going to be echoing through my head for the near future. And I'm absolutely okay with that. Okay, so this was a complete pleasure. Thank you for coming with me on the adventure. It really was an adventure. And I do plan on doing some more Nightwish in the future, so let me know what some good recommendations would be for that. But for now, as always, just remember that you don't have to be perfect. Just be okay. And keep listening.